In the heart of a small town, everyone knew Ryan Maddox. They knew him for his perfect discipline, a trait forged over 8 years as a Marine, and for his gentle, ever-present smile. When he returned home from service, he traded his rifle for a spatula, pouring his heart into building something peaceful, a small restaurant that served simple food with an abundance of warmth. The locals adored him. He was the kind of man who never raised his voice, never passed judgment. His regulars would often say, "Ryan doesn't just cook food, he cooks comfort." His little eatery was a sanctuary, a place where the community felt at home. But behind that comforting smile was a man fighting a silent battle. After the last customer left and the closed sign was hung, Ryan would return to an empty apartment. The military had instilled in him an incredible strength, teaching him to endure physical hardship and face external threats. But it hadn't prepared him for the quiet, creeping enemy of loneliness. The silence of his apartment was a stark contrast to the camaraderie of the cause and the lively chatter of his restaurant. One night, the weight of that isolation became unbearable. Feeling disconnected and desperate for a human connection, he turned to the internet. He found an online classified site and saw an ad from a woman offering companionship. He thought it would be a harmless escape, a few hours of conversation, a temporary reprieve from his solitude. He arranged to meet her, believing it was nothing more than that. But he was tragically mistaken. She wasn't acting alone. When Ryan arrived at the designated apartment, he stepped into a carefully laid trap. A man was waiting in the shadows, an accomplice in a sinister plot. What Ryan had hoped would be a simple, friendly meeting was, in fact, a setup. It was a scheme for money, for control, a brutal act of exploitation, preying on his vulnerability. By the next morning, Ryan Maddox would not return home. His sudden disappearance sent a shockwave through the community. The investigation began, a painstaking process of piecing together the final hours of his life. Detectives meticulously combed through phone records, sifting through texts and calls. They analyzed grainy security camera footage, searching for any clue. Slowly, a dark picture emerged from the digital breadcrumbs messages exchanged between the woman and her male accomplice, detailing the plan, their intentions clear. Bit by bit, the horrifying truth behind that fateful night was uncovered. The news of his death devastated the town. People who had known his kindness and shared stories over his home-cooked meals were left in stunned disbelief. His restaurant, once a beacon of warmth, became a memorial. Customers, friends, and strangers alike placed flowers outside the closed doors. Fellow veterans stood in silent tribute, their hands placed solemnly over their hearts, honoring a brother lost not on the battlefield, but in the supposed safety of home. Ryan's story resonated far beyond his small town. It traveled across the country, carried by news reports and social media, transforming from a local tragedy into a national cautionary tale. It became a stark warning about the hidden dangers that can lurk in the digital world, especially for those reaching out from a place of desperation. In a quiet, heartbreaking interview, Ryan's mother shared a sentiment that captured the cruel irony of his fate. With a voice full of sorrow, she said, "My son survived war. He faced dangers most of us can only imagine. What he could not survive was the cruelty of people who saw his loneliness as an advantage." Ryan Maddox became more than just a headline, more than a tragic statistic. His story serves as a powerful and enduring reminder that even the strongest among us, the pillars of our communities, can be fighting invisible battles. It reminds us that kindness and strength on the outside don't always reflect the turmoil within. And sometimes, tragically, those silent struggles can lead them to knock on the wrong door. Ryan's legacy is a call for compassion, a plea to look out for one another, and to recognize that the deepest wounds are often the ones we cannot see. Thank you for listening to Ryan's story. If you or someone you know is struggling with loneliness or mental health, please know that help is available and you are not alone. We'll leave some resources in the description below. Please remember to be kind to one another. If you found this story meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more. We appreciate your support.